Well, it's no different with like some of these moves because sometimes I see these moves, I'm like that's not going to work. Like I've never like because here's the sniff test. If you're looking at some move and someone's trying to show it to you,
Yeah.
go see if you can find it in a match or a hard roll. Like otherwise it becomes theoretical. It's like, for instance, like back in the day, everybody wanted to make fun of like kung fu guys, like because they would, or these, we'll watch McDojo, and you'll watch like these guys like do some silly stuff where they're, like punching the wall or punching the guy and the guy falls into the wall or whatever, all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, I mean, some of these techniques that get shown are no different. You're just as bad. You're showing a technique that's not going to work. It's not fundamentally sound. It looks cool because the person's going along with you.
Right.
Just like when the guys like the what is that thing called, the thing where the Russian guys, like they hit them.
Oh god, Sistema.
Yeah, like where like they're hitting them and they like fall over and stuff. And
but aren't there like various?
You've got overweight Fedor. He's like
that guy. He lays down and like just
he like lays down and like
over his belly.
He like lays down and he touches them with his big toe and they fall over and flip. Like it's like because they're going with it.
Sure.
But it's no different than watching one of these dudes like flip around upside down and then all of a sudden he ends up in the back and it's like. That looks cool, but it's like nobody does that. Like I've never seen it happen in a match, so it looks fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows? Prove me wrong. Maybe it works. But, most of the time when you watch matches, you'll see like flittering, like some glimpses of things like that, but they're not quite as crazy as that. I think a lot of times that stuff is that social media moves. Yeah. It's to me like the jiu-jitsu equivalent of a guy like standing in his underwear or a woman standing in her bra to attract people to like them, right? It's like, look at me, look at this cool thing I did, because the fundamentals are kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like for instance, when I go to seminars, right? I start almost all my seminars off with like, all right, guys, how many of you guys raise your hands have been to or watched my videos? And I mean, almost all the hands go up. And I tell them, good. So you're not expecting me to show you anything fancy because I don't do it. Because again, I'm a fundamentally based guy. I like the fundamentals more. Now, I have a few kind of neat little moves that you can throw in there, which again they hit. But I'm a practical guy. I think I get it from my mom. My mom like she like you could offer my mom a beautiful piece of jewelry or a vacuum. She'd take a vacuum. Mm-hmm. She'd be up there like friggin' vacuuming the whole damn house. But for me, I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, but like I'd rather do that really simple move that works rather than have this really cool looking move. I don't need that.
Do you think maybe not for the beginners, but maybe for the experienced grappler, like you could maybe pick something up from some of these social media moves? I mean, is there anything? I feel like maybe any ideas? I mean, is there any benefit to watching them?
I mean, maybe maybe there is. I don't know. My thing is like because again, some of the stuff can work, I'm sure, but my thing is for me is like I always kind of like. Do I see people hitting it?
Right.
That's really like that's the thing that I focus, because for me it's like I've only got so much time in my life. I've only got so much time in the day, and I see these things working. I'm going to go with what's working. Now, that's not to say you can't innovate a little bit. You can make adjustments or whatever else. But before I'm going to worry about like breaking the rules, I'm going to make sure I learn the rules.
Right.
You know, and I think that sometimes like, I'll see young guys that are like young blue belts and like late in their white belts, 4-stripe white belts, like doing videos and like, hey guys, I made up this new guard. I'm like, come on, man. Like give it a couple years. Like give it a couple years. Put in your apprenticeship. It's like put in your apprenticeship first, and then come out and create some stuff. Learn the rules and be a hell of a follower first, and then come out later on and you can lead.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before. It's like you got to be a good, like I think even like Jocko and some of those guys have talked about this. You got to be a good follower before you can be a leader.
For sure.
And I think that first like you should be focused on learning the rules. It's like I've used this quote probably to the point where it's worn out, but I think it's so good because like when you look at jazz. Like they do jazz, there's a lot of improvisation in jazz,
sure.
Right? So basically, you'll hear someone do a jazz improvisation during a song that they may never do again, and they're just doing it based on how they feel. It's all intuition, and the way that they get to that point is they learn the basic rules so well that then it becomes ingrained in their body, and they're just doing stuff, right? They're playing the music based on how they feel. And there's that quote by Charlie Parker. It's like you master the music, you master the instrument, and then you forget all that shit and just play, right? And so I think that you have to get to that point. You need to spend a lot of time learning the stuff that works, that good core fundamental stuff that works. Not to say that you can't play. Play is really important for jiu-jitsu and just screwing around. I think, honestly, that's where probably some of those weird moves and one-offs, like that's where they have a place is just play. Like, let's see what this thing happens. Let's see if I can try this. Fun. Just for fun, And see, maybe you get something from it, But if you're talking about like spending like your bulk of your time, you should be focusing on that, like that core stuff that works that you can see people using and all that stuff. And then later on, you get to a point where all of a sudden you start creating your own stuff.
Yeah,
because you have that deep knowledge.
I think